I hope you're all doing okay. As a way of introduction, my name is Temi, and I have chosen to do a 5-part podcast series on navigating purpose in celebration of my 30th birthday. I'm very, very big on birthdays, and late last year, I started to think a lot and ask myself a lot of fundamental questions centered around purpose. I started to ask myself questions like, why am I here? What is my purpose here on earth? Am I just here to do a regular 9 to 5? And what impact am I really making in the world that is driving change and, just being impactful? I had also seen a video on Instagram where someone was talking about identity. And this person was basically talking about how people will introduce themselves. Who do you show up as? And, for me, I just say, hi, my name is Temi and I work at so place. And I found that my identity was really, really tied to my work. And I really, really wanted to change that. And that stuck in my head for a little while. And I was sat on my couch one day and I just got this leading in my heart to do a podcast series talking to women who are dynamic in the different industries that they work, be it fashion, business, banking, whatever that is. While I was seated as well, the enemy tried to creep in and he asked me, or I got a thought in my head, which basically was, what do you have to say and why should people listen to you? Do you have something so impactful, to tell the world? And as that little thought tried to creep in my head, I said to myself, I have something to say. And so for the purpose of this podcast series, I had tagged it, I have something to say, Navigating Purpose with Temi. And so over the next few episodes, I will be speaking to all of these women and hope that you can learn a thing or two from them. For this first episode, which you're listening to, I would basically be setting the scene and, talking to you about purpose and about different seasons. For the first part of this, I would like to talk about seasons and being stuck in between seasons. So personally, I feel like I'm at a place where I'm not where I used to be, but also I'm not where God wants me to be. And I also thought to share a part of the Bible that talks about season. And this is from Genesis 8, verse 22. And it says, while the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night time shall not cease. So it basically is talking about seasons, and it's saying, nothing shall cease. All of these things, springtime, harvest, summer, all of these things are basically happening and going on. And it's very, very important that we recognize the seasons that we are in our lives and set clear and actionable goals that will take us to the next step towards achieving purpose and who God has destined us to be. I feel like a lot of us are repeating seasons that we really shouldn't be repeating because we're not learning what we're supposed to learn. And also sometimes because the way miracles happen are very, very little, we're not able to recognize miracles when it's happening or recognize God's blessings when it's happening. And as a result of that, we are repeating seasons. So I was listening to a message late last year from Temi, and he basically talked about purpose. He talked about seasons, and he shared very, very insightful and valuable points on how to set yourself up for success. First is to write down the vision and make it plain. You need to have a full-blown strategy on how to navigate purpose and take yourself into that next level. For me, for example, this podcast series is one of the ways that I believe that I am achieving purpose and creating an impact. So for you, sit back, write down, clear, actionable goals of what exactly you want to be doing that ties strongly into your identity, and just go for it. The sky is your starting point and definitely not the limit. Secondly, you have to be passionate and you have to be willing to learn and serve. Joseph in prison, was able to interpret dreams, and that got him to the king's palace. You are basically able to achieve purpose while you are serving. So you need to be in constant service of people. And I wrote down here that being able to serve would be your connection to your next place of destiny. So don't give up. Sometimes as well, God edits out the pain in the process of keeping you grounded. And just still touching on Joseph, God showed him the palace and he showed him the kingdom, but he didn't show him the pain that was going to go through the process. He didn't show him that his brothers would betray him. He didn't show him any of the pain that he would go through. God just showed him that beautiful, glossy picture. And I think also that is why I keep asking myself, God, why am I here? But this is not what you've shown me. You've shown me the good and expected end. So why is it that I'm going through all of this hardship and all of this process? But basically, your blessings will find you in the place of success. So the next point that I also wanted to highlight here is that opportunity comes disguised in service and daily demands that you are failing to meet. You need to stop waiting for big things to happen. Take that first step and basically walk through it, learn through it. So the next step that I have here is, your talent gets you in the room, but strategy keeps you in the room. You need to have depth even though you have a gift. It's important for you to always show up as your true, authentic self and make sure that you leave a lasting impact wherever you are. So whether that's in your job, whether that's with your friends, whenever people meet you, must be leaving them with something to think about. And whatever you're leaving them with has to be something positive as well. It shouldn't be, something negative. You should always leave an impact. You should leave a lasting impact whenever you meet people, interact with them, or just do anything with them generally. You also need to take on responsibilities. Always say yes and figure it out along the way. God will supply the supernatural capacity to learn things that you're willing to say yes to. I feel like I also need to do more of this because sometimes I shy away from responsibilities just because I feel like I have a lot on my plate. But whenever a challenge is thrown at you, even though you don't know how to do it, say yes to the opportunity, take on that new challenge, push yourself further, ask questions where you need to ask questions, and also make sure that you have a solid network of friends around you that are willing to support you. If you're the most intelligent person in a room, then you're probably in the wrong room. I tell people this, or actually, I have a friend that tells me this. She's so proud of her friends, and she brags about her friends because all her friends come correct. So you have to come correct. You have to be able to make an impact. Another thing that I wanted to highlight here, based on the things that I wrote down, is that you need to be ready in and out of seasons. Temi Arayomi said you need to be battle ready, and a lot of us are actually not battle ready. There are certain times when I do certain things and I lash out and I probably had a bad sense of judgment. And I feel like, oh, Temi, you are not really grasping what exactly was happening here, So we're not saying that you wouldn't make mistakes, but you need to try as much as possible to grow to the point where you are battle ready in and out of season. So through trying times, through the good times, through the bad times, remain thankful, remain diligent, remain dogged, and be ready. Put on the whole armor of God. So mentors and tormentors take you closer to your destiny. And I think this is really profound. A lot of the great things that I have done today, which I am probably most happy and proud about, has come from deep, excruciating pain based on some of the experiences that I have had in my life. So definitely I agree with him on, this particular point. And last but not the least is that you cannot manipulate the seasons to change. You must walk through it. Even though you don't like that particular season, you have to walk through it and learn the lessons that has been set for you to learn. Because if you don't learn those lessons, you're going to repeat the seasons and you don't want time to waste. You want to make sure that you are moving and you are in line and you are aligned with purpose. I wanted to give the example of David here. Samuel had blessed David to be king, right? But he went through so much trial and tribulation from Saul that, it almost looked like that dream was not going to come to pass. But he basically went through that season. And at the end of the day, he became the king of Israel. So that's it on this first episode of Navigating Purpose with Temi. I'm really excited about the next episode. I'm going to be sitting with a really brilliant. I think she's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to be sitting with a brilliant woman who is an inspiration and is a leadership. I don't even know if I should call it a leadership coach, but she's just really an amazing and all-round person. And I can't wait for you guys to watch it. Thank you very much for joining me on the first episode of this podcast on navigating purpose and finding identity. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye.